Have you ever replayed an argument in your head, but this time you win? You say the perfect line. They look shocked. You walk away powerful. But in real life, you stayed silent. So, why does your brain refuse to let it go? Why does betrayal feel physical? Why does revenge feel satisfying? And here's the disturbing question. If revenge destroys relationships, families, even nations, why did evolution keep it? Tonight, we are not talking about drama. We are talking about something ancient. Because revenge is older than civilization, older than law, older than morality. And by the end of this video, you may realize something uncomfortable. Revenge isn't a flaw in your system. It is the system. When someone betrays you, your brain reacts the same way it reacts to physical injury. Studies show social rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Think about that. Your brain cannot clearly distinguish between a punch and humiliation. Why? Because in ancient tribes, rejection meant death. If your tribe excluded you, no food, no protection, no mating, no survival. So evolution created a powerful mechanism. Make betrayal hurt. Not emotionally, physically. That pain is not weakness, it's survival software. But here's where revenge enters. Pain demands correction, and your brain whispers, balance it. But here's something strange. If revenge is about balance, why does it sometimes make us feel worse afterward? We'll come back to that. In early human tribes, reputation was everything. If someone stole from you and you did nothing, you signaled weakness. Weakness invited more exploitation. But if you defended, you sent a message, I'm not safe to attack. Revenge was not emotional chaos, it was reputation defense. And reputation means survival. Now think about modern life. Why do people respond aggressively to disrespect? Obsess over winning arguments. Fear looking weak publicly. Because your brain still thinks you are in a tribe of 100 people. Not on social media. Not in a city of millions. Your brain still tracks status like survival depends on it. Because once it did. But here's the twist. If revenge protects status, why do powerful leaders sometimes forgive publicly? Hold that thought. Here's something most people don't know. Revenge activates reward centers in the brain. Yes, when you imagine someone who hurt you suffering, your brain releases dopamine. Not huge amounts, but enough to feel satisfying. That's why fantasies of revenge feel good. It's not cruelty, it's perceived justice. Your brain says, threat neutralized. But there's a trap. The brain evolved for small tribes, not endless rumination. In ancient times, Revenge happened quickly, conflict resolved physically, hierarchy reset. Today, you replay the insult for years. Your brain keeps trying to compete an action that never happens. That unfinished loop creates obsession, and obsession feels like power, but it's actually cognitive capacity. If revenge feels rewarding, why do some people forgive and move on faster than others? Are they weaker, or are they operating on a different survival strategy? We are about to go deeper. Forgiveness is often praised as moral superiority, but biologically, it's risky. Forgiving someone who betrayed you could expose you to future harm. So, why did forgiveness evolve at all? Because long-term cooperation is more valuable than short-term dominance. In stable tribes, constant retaliation destroys group survival. So, evolution created two competing systems: punish cheaters, preserve alliances. Revenge protects status, forgiveness protects stability. Your brain runs both programs, and they fight inside you. That tension you feel after betrayal, that's two evolutionary forces competing. Earlier I asked, why do powerful leaders forgive publicly? Because sometimes displaying restraint increases status more than retaliation. Controlled power signals dominance. Uncontrolled revenge signals emotional instability. And humans are very sensitive to stability cues. You forget compliments quickly, but insult, they stick. Because negative memory has survival priority. Your brain exaggerates threat to prevent repetition. Revenge fantasies are a rehearsal. Your mind is preparing better defense next time. But here's the danger. Modern life rarely gives clear resolution. So your brain keeps the file open. And open emotional files drain energy. That's why unresolved resentment feels heavy, not poetic, neurological. Now zoom out. What happens when millions of tribal brains connect through the internet? Status competition becomes global. Humiliation becomes permanent. Revenge becomes digital. Public shaming, cancel culture, endless outrage cycles. Ancient revenge mechanism in a hyper-connected world. Your brain evolved for 100 tribe members, not billions. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Revenge is not disappearing. It is scaling. But evolution moves slowly. Technology moves instantly. That mismatch creates chaos. So, what is the future? The most adaptive humans will not be the most aggressive. They will be the most regulated. Because self-control is modern dominance, not suppression. Strategic inhibition. The ability to decide, is it threat real or is my ancient brain overreacting? Revenge kept your ancestors alive, but in modern life, uncontrolled revenge destroys opportunity. The strongest move in 2026 is not retaliation, it is selective response. Because power today is not who strikes hardest, it who remains stable under provocation. So, next time you replay that argument and imagine the perfect comeback, pause. That's not weakness. That's your ancient survival system trying to protect you. The real evolution is learning when not to use it, and that is a different kind of power. We have talked about tribal revenge, we have talked about dopamine, but now let's talk about something measurable. In neuroscience studies, when participants are given the opportunity to punish someone who treated them unfairly, the striatum, a reward processing area of the brain, activates. Punishment lights up the same system involved in food, money, and pleasure. That means revenge is not just emotional, it is neurochemical. But here's the part most people don't know. The activation is short-lived, very short. The satisfaction spikes drops quickly, and what remains? The original emotional injury. This explains something powerful. Revenge feels relieving in imagination, but often empty in reality. Because your brain evolved for immediate tribal correction, not prolonged psychological welfare. Let's zoom out to history. Blood feuds existed in early societies for thousands of years. In pre-state cultures, if someone from another family harmed yours, retaliation was expected, not optional. Anthropologists studying small-scale societies found something consistent. Unpunished aggression increased future attacks. But excessive retaliation led to cycles of violence that destabilized entire groups. So over time, something evolved. Law. Legal systems are in many ways outsourced revenge. Instead of personal retaliation, the state punishes on your behalf. This reduced endless revenge cycles. But your brain did not evolve alongside legal systems fast enough. Emotionally, you still want personal justice, even when institutional justice exists. That's why court verdicts don't always feel satisfying, because your brain is not just seeking fairness, it's seeking dominance restoration, and those are not the same thing. Now consider modern life. Today, humiliation spreads globally within minutes. In ancient tribes, maybe 100 people witnessed your embarrassment. Now, millions. And your brain still reacts as if reputation loss equals survival threat. This is why online shaming feels catastrophic. Neuroscientifically, public rejection activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the amygdala, stress hormone release. Your body prepares for danger. But there is no predator, only perception, and perception is enough. Now, here's a disturbing statistic. Study shows that when people are socially excluded, they become more likely to behave aggressively afterward. Not always physically, but verbally, digitally, socially. Revenge impulses increases after exclusion, which means modern social media platforms where exclusion and comparison are constant are unintentionally amplifying ancient revenge circuitry. Your brain was not built for algorithmic humiliation, it was built for small group accountability. This doesn't mean suppress emotion, it means delaying reaction, because delay allows the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, to override the amygdala. Revenge is amygdala driven. Strategic restraint is prefrontal driven. In evolutionary terms, revenge is ancient hardware, restraint is advanced software. Now, here's where it comes uncomfortable. Societies that fail to regulate collective revenge often collapse into instability. History shows repeated patterns: tribal retaliation, escalation, polarization, fragmentation. But societies that develop strong institutional conflict resolution system stabilize and prosper. This pattern repeats across civilizations. Revenge unchecked destabilizes groups. Justice system stabilizes them, which means on a macro level, civilization itself is an attempt to control revenge. Now ask yourself something quietly. When you think about someone who hurt you, are you seeking justice or are you seeking emotional equilibrium? There is a difference. Justice repairs structure. Revenge repairs ego, and ego repair is temporary, structural repair is lasting. Now let's close the loop. Why does your brain refuse to forget betrayal? Because forgetting without resolution once meant vulnerability. But in modern life, resolution does not always require retaliation. Sometimes it requires reframing. Sometimes it requires distance. Sometimes it requires strategic silence. Silence is not weakness. In many social hierarchies, silence signals confidence. Reactive aggression signals insecurity. That's not philosophy, that's status psychology. The future belongs to individuals who can feel anger, observe it, delay it, choose response. Not because they are morally superior, just because they are evolutionary updated. The brain you inherited was built for survival in small tribes. The world you live in requires psychological precision. Revenge builds the past, regulation builds the future, and the most powerful move you make is not eliminating anger, but mastering it. Because evolution gave you the impulse, but consciousness gives you the choice, and that choice is the next stage of human development.